Brian Allee-Walsh, Les East with NewOrleans.com. It's about 11:15 after their second victory of the preseason. Les were down in the tent in the bowels of the Superdome. Some great things to talk about tonight. Let's begin with number 10, the second-year quarterback, Chase Daniel.
He really opened my eyes. I saw some passes he threw that went down the middle, I think to Adrian Arrington early on. I don't think I've seen him throw a pass that good since he's been here, at least in the practices I've seen the preseason work. He looked a lot more confident. He was decisive. He had some zip on the ball. 3 touchdown drives. He did have the one bad interception, which he was quick to point out after the game. But all in all, I think it's taken a huge step forward in the battle for the backup quarterback.
Yeah, he was talking about this. It's the first time he's really gotten some live action for any extended period of time since the Alamo Bowl back in Missouri. You know, so it's been a time, and he was talking about how comfortable and confident he was feeling as the game was wearing on. Let me see his. I'll give you his final stats here. They're pretty good. Played the better part of 3 quarters, really. 15 of 21 for 182 with 3 touches, as you said, and 1 interception. Quarterback rating of 117.5. That'll get you on most rosters. Now, before we coronate him the number 2 quarterback for this team, you know, obviously Patrick Ramsey's going to get some more time next week. It's probably going to be his ball next week after Drew gets a half, probably. But it's obviously it's a tight competition, and he certainly, like you said, made a step toward making this roster. Whether they keep 3 now will remain on what happens, but he certainly took a large step forward. The running game. Let's talk about the 2 young kids. Well, let's begin with Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush. They got it started. They turned in some good performances early in the first quarter. Kind of turned the ball over to the kids.
Yeah, and that's what I blogged about. It's on NewOrleans.com right now. Obviously, there was an emphasis on the running game from the outset. Sean Payton wanted to establish that. He alternated Reggie Bush and Pierre Thomas. Both of them were very effective on that first drive. Reggie scoring on a 9-yard touchdown run. They both looked good. Reggie ran hard between the tackles. He continues to have a good training camp in preseason. Very impressive. Pierre scored a touchdown on a swing pass. And then, you know, Chris Ivory and P.J. Hill did some things as well. I think overall the running game was an extremely positive thing. I think it was 200 yards or thereabouts.
Yeah, 198, averaging 4.3 a carry. So, and 2 rushing touchdowns, as you mentioned. So, I mean, again, I think everybody showed themselves well tonight, acquitted themselves well tonight, and there's a lot to build off as they go into the San Diego game. Adrian Arrington, Les, again, second consecutive good game, and I talked to him in the locker room about that, and the key is now can he come back healthy and start practice Monday without any nicks, and that's the key for him.
And we keep saying that, you know, the fact that he's not a big special teams guy is going to keep him off of this team. But if he keeps making these plays as a receiver, either they can look at somebody other than Courtney Roby as being the kickoff returner, or I think probably more likely, they can look at maybe carrying a 6th wide receiver. He is making Sean Payton's final decisions of wide receiver a lot more difficult than we thought they would have been maybe a week and a half ago.
Absolutely, and you know what, if they're thinking about exposing him to the waiver wire in September, he now has 7 catches for roughly 156 yards and 1 touch in the preseason. You know what, he's going to catch some eyes, if not here, someplace else, and obviously that's going to be a hard decision for Sean if he keeps playing as he is. Then there were some negatives certainly to this game, even though they won going away. But there were some things that certainly is going to be brought up in the film room come tomorrow and Monday. Is that 1 penalties, I believe, 9 penalties. Is that right? For almost 100 yards. That certainly is not sitting well with them. And then the returns again, you know, the coverage units again gave up a couple long ones.
Yeah, well, Sean Payton in the post game kept going back to the penalties. 100 yards and penalties will get you beat in the regular season. That first Texans drive, they had 3rd down, they stop them. They should be getting off the field. Anthony Hargrove gets a personal foul. Next play, they have 12 men on the field. Next play, Jonathan Casillas lines up in the neutral zone. 3 straight plays, 3 straight penalties. That's preseason. You're trying to iron that stuff out. But obviously that's going to be a point of emphasis. And then, the kick coverage was something going into camp was a point of emphasis to get better than last year. He was a liability against New England, and tonight they give up a 63-yard kickoff return and a 55-yard kickoff return. So, I don't think I would want to be in that meeting room with Greg McCain tomorrow or Monday, because that is obviously something that's going to be probably point of emphasis number 1 from a negative perspective. That is something they have to get fixed and get fixed quickly. Yeah,
and we have stressed that, I know on NewOrleans.com throughout training camp, is that guys' jobs are going to be at stake here on special teams. And if you're going to make this roster, you better be able to play cover and return and all the units that you're being asked to do. And if you can't, they're going to go find people that do. And but all in all, I'd say they've got to feel pretty good about this. No injuries to speak of that we know of anyway. At least Coach Payton didn't mention any that in his post game. Something for the fans just to lock down here is that they now are in training camp is over. As far as they're going to be out of the hotel. You can go. The players can go home. Those that do not have rooms at the hotel, they can go on home. The team resumes practice 1 a day starting Monday, and everything now is closed to the public. In fact, the media, we're reverting to regular in-season type of coverage, and we're going to be limited to our 30 minutes per practice. So it's lockdown, and they're getting ready for the Minnesota Vikings in a sense, I think, beginning Monday.
Yeah, in fact, they're probably starting to install some stuff for that game. They'll probably run some scout stuff that the Vikings do. In fact, that's one of the reasons probably why they are going into the regular season mode, where they shut it down and only let the media watch for 20 or 30 minutes, because there's a lot of stuff they're going to be working on that they don't want people to see, because they're getting ready for the Vikings, like you said.
Including us, the media, I believe.
Absolutely.
But check out Les's blog this evening about the game, and then tomorrow I'll have my morning after column and my updated 53 and counting bubble roster as it pertains to the 2 games in, with 2 more weeks of training camp to go. So that'll be tomorrow on NewOrleans.com. For Les East, I'm Brian Allee-Walsh from the bowels of the Superdome. Good night, everybody.